A walking foot is a really useful tool to know how to use. It's designed to feed the upper layer of fabric through under the presser foot at the same rate as the lower layer of fabric feeds through. Oftentimes quilters will use the walking foot when they have their quilt sandwich because they'll have the 2 layers of fabric with that lofty layer of batting in between, and they want all of the layers to feed through evenly at the same rate. So sometimes you'll find when you're sewing something, the layers will shift, especially if you're sewing on fabric that has a shiny face or a slippery face, like satin, or some knits like dancewear or swimwear will have that shiny face that'll be really slippery when you get the right sides together, or something that has a nap like a minky or a faux fur or velvet, corduroy, something that when you get the right sides together will shift around a lot. You might find that you start sewing and the start of the seam, the layers are even, but then when you get to the end of the seam, the layers may have shifted, and at the end of the seam, the layers are no longer even, and that's called creeping. And that happens because the lower layer of fabric, the layer that is against the bed of the machine, has the benefit of those feed dogs touching the fabric. And the feed dogs, with every stitch, the feed dogs are pulling on that fabric to feed it through, whereas the upper layer of fabric doesn't have anything. So it oftentimes will get left behind. So that is where the walking foot comes into play. There are a lot of things that you can do to combat that creeping, and the walking foot is one of the most useful. And this apparatus might look a little bit weird and intimidating, but once you learn how to attach it and how to use it, it's really easy. So on the underside of this foot, we have it's sort of open so that the feed dogs they can sort of jump up and down in an up and down and sort of backward motion to pull that fabric that's touching the underlayer of, touching the underside of the presser foot, pull that along under the foot and feed it along at the same rate as the lower layer. And this bar up here sits on top of the needle bar, the screw that holds your needle in place under here, so that with every motion of the needle, as the needle goes up and down, the bar that sits on top of here will move up and down, and those feed dogs will move and help that upper layer of fabric along. So this is a walking foot that came along with my machine. And here's another walking foot that was sort of a generic type walking foot. So it looks a little bit different up here, but the purpose and the functionality of it is the same, except instead of just sitting on this lever sitting on top of the needle bar, with this one, that screw on the needle bar kind of slides in between this fork.
Hey, sorry for the interruption, but Emily here, and I want to tell you about a super cool offer that I have for you from Craftsy. If you don't know what Craftsy is, it is an online community with resource of millions of creative and like-minded makers where members can find endless inspiration, advance the skills you already have, or discover a new favorite hobby or craft that you've always wanted to try. Craftsy offers more than 2,000 exciting classes in over 20 popular categories, everything from sewing and crochet to baking and painting. The classes are broken down into easy to follow lessons and are led by friendly, award-winning instructors like me who share creativity, wisdom, and provide step-by-step tutorials. I loved Ashley Huff's sewing class on how to sew super cute skirts. I'm not much of a garment sewer myself, but she had so many approachable tips and tricks on how to make this pattern so easy with her instruction. And I also loved Brenda KB Anderson's crochet class on how to crochet rainbow home decor because, let's be honest, who doesn't love a giant rainbow pillow? She also had some amazing tips on how to turn your work when making curves in crochet. I got so inspired by Heather Thomas's class on creative finishing and edging for her quilt, and she reminded me just how awesome and fun it can be to embellish the finished edges of your quilt. She also taught me a new method for how to make the corners of my quilts even more precise. And a huge thank you to Craftsy for sponsoring today's video. The cool thing is though, as a Craftsy member, you will also have access to live stream tutorials where experts answer questions, share tips, and engage with the Craftsy community in real time, which I absolutely love. So the first 1,000 people to click on the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership for Craftsy for only $1.49. So click the link below and let's get creative together.
So it's really easy to attach. You'll need to remove the presser foot holder. So you might need a screwdriver to get this screw started. We're going to remove this. And then the walking foot will come over and hook onto that presser foot bar, and then the lever on top of the walking foot sits on top of this needle bar. So we're going to put the screw back in. So once that screw is tightened down, you can slide your fabric underneath. And with every motion of the needle, that lever goes up and down, which moves those feed dogs on the bottom of the presser foot. So it's feeding our fabric along at the same rate. So your layers of fabric will stay together no matter how slippery they are and how much they want to creep. It really helps those layers stay together. So there are a ton of different uses and different scenarios where you might need a tool to help your layers stay together, and the walking foot is a great tool to know how to use.